A king is understood as someone who takes upon great responsibility to lead and guide his people towards his vision. Within the world of Magi, there are various kings, each with differing ideologies and approaches to how they lead and interact with countries. Firstly, let's start with Cohen and the Cohen Empire. In short, Cohen's ideology can be symbolized as the desire to unite the world as one language, one culture, one history, and one country. It's simple and persuasive. Cohen sees war as conflict that arises due to political and cultural differences. Rather than having multiple kings vying for territory and power, he believes that uniting the world as one country under one king can establish peace. He believes that there will be no reason to go to war if everyone is under the same flag and conforming to the same societal rules. Essentially, globalization and cultural differences lead to fear, discrimination, and ultimately to war, so eliminating them and the differences between people will unite them as one and remove the need for wars. To carry this out, the Cohen Empire must first take over the world by force in order to conform it to its standards. Cohen operates through sheer military might, training up a massive army force and housing 6 dungeon captures, all in the hope of subjugating all territories as they continue their conquest across the world. The idea appears to be hypocritical, as to stop war, Cohen and the Cohen Empire are starting wars in every country. For Cohen, the ends justify the means. Furthermore, one thing Magi does very well is highlight how his approach isn't necessarily hypocritical, as it can be carried out peacefully. This is shown early on with the Koga Empire. Hakaway is established as an honorable, kind-hearted character. However, regardless of how she sugarcoats her negotiations with the Koga Empire, Ko's ultimate goal is the subjugation and submission of the Koga Empire. This is interesting as it places the Koga Empire in a difficult place where they want to remain as their own nation, but ultimately have no choice due to Ko's military might. As heavy-handed as this approach may be, it's still accomplished with minimal bloodshed, which is Cohen's goal ultimately. However, Magi also highlights the other side of the cost of assimilation. This is shown in Balbad, where regardless of the nation's peace, stripping away a country's culture, individuality, and rights causes its population unrest and creates a nation essentially ruled by fear. The issue with this ideology is shown to the extreme with Solomon's world, where Solomon was able to unite the world, but regardless of his efforts, it ultimately failed, and a large reason for creating this new world was to find an answer different to Solomon's. Now let's move on to Mogamet and Magnustat. With Mogamet, there's a distinct contrast. Magnustat is modeled as a closed-off sanctuary for magicians who are ostracized or taken advantage of by other nations. However, therein lies the problem with the kingdom structure, as the price for a utopian society with a distinct sense of exclusivity is high. Some important things to know in Mogamet's magical utopia is that the kingdom completely relies on magic for its daily functions and labor-intensive tasks, hence the lack of slaves. Secondly, magical power and standing is equivalent to your social standing. Essentially, this means that aspiring magicians can continue to improve and work on their magic and as a result improve their living standards, as opposed to other kingdoms where birthright determines your social destiny in the world, such as Balbat. This approach gives more merit to hard work and ingenuity as a result. The price of such a utopia is very steep, however. As seen, they use humans as Magi production cattle. Obviously very inhumane and unethical, but due to Mogamet's past, he no longer sees humans and magicians as equals. He essentially put magic on a pedestal, fanatically revering it above all else, including human decency. Another aspect to Mogamet is his paradoxical nature. He plays many sides. He's often a caring headmaster, a brilliant magician, but other times he's a prejudiced ruler and a stone-hearted man. This is one of the aspects of Magi I enjoy the most, because his character is very hypocritical, which is a great character flaw. He loves and wants to protect young magicians from politics and injustices, but doesn't mind getting his hands dirty against humans. He preaches about equality because magicians were discriminated against, but proceeds to unfairly treat humans. He even implemented a social system ranking people according to their hard work and contribution to society in order to reach equality, but then he considers humans useless and incapable. He genuinely believes he's doing good and is right because of his experiences. That's why he's able to truly care about the magicians and students under him, because in his eyes, he isn't doing anything wrong. Ultimately, the system is built on the shoulders and ideology of one man, and such a system is shown in Magi to constantly fail, as only a collective effort can truly create a good kingdom. Here is where Shahrazad and the Ram Empire are very different. Shahrazad takes a maternal approach to ruling a country. She couples motherhood and politics, and the Ram Empire is very successful as a military power and trading capital. Ram is a very powerful and secure kingdom. Their standard living conditions are very good, with a healthy economy, a strong gambling industry, and a very robust military. Her leading style is often very different to all other kings in Magi. Unlike the others, she sees herself as a mother to all the people of Rem. As a mother, she guides, cares for, and advises the people of Rem, with the idea that one day, similar to a normal child, they will one day grow up and will need to make their own decisions. As a result, she does not see herself as the highest decision-making authority, but rather a consultant and mother, ensuring her children go down the right path. An interesting dynamic in Magi is the contrast between Mogammet and Shahrazad's approach to magic. The Rem Empire uses magic and encourages it. However, for them it is not the end-all be-all, and they only use it as a supplement to their skills and smarts. Rem tries to build strength through various channels like scientists, tacticians, magicians, and the like, and this directly clashes with Mogammet's ideas, as Shahrazad believes there is strength in everyone, not just those with magical powers. For Shahrazad, she is simply a guiding light to unlock others' potential. However, there lies an interesting aspect to Shahrazad. She's grown so fond of the Rem Empire that she hardly cares about other countries and their people. She's essentially become exclusive with the Rem Empire, and as a result, to ensure Rem's continued success, she is not above resorting to morally iffy tactics to protect the ones she holds dear. Although she acts motherly towards the people of Rem, she is harsh and strict and uses Titus simply as a spy vessel in order to protect the Rem Empire. This directly in line with her character, as mothers are known for self-sacrifice and being able to do anything to protect their children. As a result, she has used herself and Titus, who is part of her, to ensure the success of Rem regardless of what they have to do. Shahrazad displays that in the Magi world, you can be a decent ruler who is not oppressive, but that regardless, all methods of ruling come with a price. Prosperity for one country can often lead to the demise of another. And finally, Sinbad and his Seven Seas Alliance. Sinbad, who is one of my favorite characters in Shonen, is a very interesting king. He's described by Yunnan as being too ideal of a king who blinds others, and this causes people to gravitate towards him, but also treat him with wariness, as they find it difficult to believe the illusion of his perfection. Sinbad, through his ordeals in the prequel story and his life experiences, has come to the conclusion that war must be stopped and avoided at all costs. This belief is what shapes his actions and ideologies within the story of Magi. Because of his connection to David and how the people around him treated him, such as Badr, his father, the generals, and other characters, he believes that he is special, a chosen one, so to say, who is capable of leading the world into peace and making it a place without war and strife. However, in order to achieve a world without war, Sinbad had to amass supporters, a country, wealth, and alliances in order to have true political sway. The issue is that, as we discussed earlier, most of the kings within Magi share different ideologies, and someone like Cohen especially uses war to advance to his ideal society. Meaning, simple discussions and peace negotiations won't always work against those greater kings. Due to this, Sinbad had to become crafty and manipulative. He resigned himself to using any underhanded trick or method to protect his kingdom of Sindria and advance his dream of a world without war. This is evident throughout the show, as for example he takes control of Kogyoku, forces Rem into an alliance, and causes Alibaba's trading company to fail. Unlike many others, he has no problem getting his hands dirty, and since he is acknowledged as the chosen one and a person able to see the flow of destiny, he's confident he can lead the world into a better place, which internally justifies his actions for him, regardless of how uncharacteristic or manipulative they may seem to his friends. Sinbad's take on countries is interesting. It directly opposes Cohen's, which is why they often clash. While Cohen wants to unite the world under one flag, Sinbad wants to celebrate differences and cultures while creating mutually beneficial alliances and trade agreements between countries. He essentially strives for a more capitalist society in which you earn merit through trade and hard work, rather than military might and size. The issue with Sinbad's approach, however, is the belief that he alone can accomplish this, and the fact that he coerces many countries into allying with him. He's essentially using the alliance's might, similar to Cohen, in order to change the world. However, rather than Cohen using force, Sinbad uses politics, trickery, and places these countries in situations where they must rely on the kingdom of Sindria. This is especially evident in the handling of the Ko-Empire post-Civil War. And due to the fact he has been told over and over that he is special and different, he can no longer see others as capable of standing with him, and therefore believes only his will is correct and can accurately shape the world, meaning that if anyone interferes with this, they must be stopped. Ultimately, the varying perspectives of kings in Magi is extremely interesting, as unlike other shonen, Magi leans heavily towards political ideologies. All perspectives of these kings have merits and drawbacks, and often contradict themselves, as kings carrying them out make mistakes because they are ultimately human and prone to fall. This is one large aspect Alibaba attempts to highlight as he proposes collaboration in reaching a better answer and to continue questioning that answer in order to keep evolving. For me, this is an aspect of Manga I greatly enjoyed and wanted to talk about, as I found it very interesting how Magi was able to present so many kings with varying leadership styles who are each at the very least understandable whether you agree with them or not.